Hey YouTube, what we're working on today is we're going to make corned beef brisket. So what I start with is beef brisket. What I have here is 77.4 pounds of beef brisket, and I paid $168.74 at Sam's Club. What I'm doing now is I'm cutting it into chunks only so that I can get more of the fat off. You could do this whole, but you can also do it in big chunks. Now you want to trim as much of the fat off as you can. And I'm going to save my fat to make tallow. That's the only reason I didn't get the pre-fatted ones. They would have been more expensive, and I wouldn't have had the fat for my tallow so that I can make me some soap, because I still don't have enough. So what I do is I just cut it almost in half so I can kind of see where the fat is, and then you can cut it, the big fat part, in half, because that's where you're going to find your big hunk of fat. And just trim it down as best you can. Okay, YouTube, I've got all the meat prepared, and this is the meat in the back that I'm going to just cook as brisket. This is the fat. I got 20 pounds of fat. It does still make it slightly cheaper to buy the butcher trimmed, but I would never do it again unless I needed it for tallow, because it was a lot of work. And then you go ahead and take your brisket that you want to do corned beef to, and you just put it in your crock. Now, for many years, I've simply used my water bath canner. That works perfectly fine, so don't go out and buy a crock. I just happened to find this one, and it's quite large. I guess it's what, a number, I can't turn it, a number 10. And I got it for $35. So I thought it was a great deal. So what I've got to do now is I've got to put my brine. And all my brine is some chopped garlic. I use 2 tablespoons of chopped garlic and 1 whole garlic head, skinned. I used 8 bay leaves, a half a cup of molasses, about 50 whole peppercorns, 2 tablespoons of vinegar, and a half a cup of sugar. Then I started adding my salt and canning pickling salt. And what you do is you put your salt in until an egg floats. And so once your egg, see how it popped right back up? Once your egg floats, you know you've got your brine right. I don't want it to cook. And so that's, once you have your brine right, then you're just going to heat it up and get it boiling and then shut it off. Okay, so I got my brine cooled and poured on top of the meat. Make sure you cool it first, because you don't want to cook your meat. And it's floated to the top, but you can see that it goes down quite a ways. So you want to move the meat around to make sure that there's no dry patches in it. And then you take a plate, invert it, and put it right on the top. Make sure it's really clean. And a lot of times I use mason jars full of water, but I'm using all my mason jars right now. As you can see, I've been canning, and you'll have to excuse this mess. I've been doing a lot of canning, and I have to take this out to the retreat or bug out location. And then you just set this down on top of it. And what that does is that pushes the meat below the water level. I got a little piece that I shouldn't see there. There we go. And then you just simply cover it with a towel, just to keep the critters out. Now my dogs have a tendency to remove the towel on me. And when my son gets home from work, I will have him move this into the closet. And we will keep it there for 3 weeks in a cool, dark place, going in every 3 or 4 days and stirring it. And there's my little Lilu. She's a little Bichon, teeny tiny one. So I'll see you in 3 weeks and we'll finish this video up.